You've watched 50 AI tutorials this month. You've built 0 things with any of them. I'm not saying that to be harsh. I'm saying it because it happened to me too, and once I understood why, it was the single biggest unlock I've had. It's not a discipline problem. It's not even a laziness problem. It's a wiring problem. Let's actually look at it. Here's the part. Almost nobody tells you. Your brain doesn't need you to actually succeed to feel rewarded. Neuroscience on dopamine is pretty clear on this. A lot of that reward chemical fires during the anticipation of a win, not just after you get it. Just imagining the outcome triggers real reward chemistry. So think about what happens when you watch a video of someone building an AI agent that automates their whole inbox. You picture yourself doing that. You picture how good that would feel. And your brain gets a small hit of exactly that feeling, without you touching a single tool. As far as your brain's concerned, something good just happened. It has no separate signal for that was imagined, not real. So the itch that would normally push you to go try the thing yourself gets quietly scratched by just watching. You close the tab feeling like you did something. You didn't. You watched a preview of a feeling and your brain filed it as the real thing. This isn't a willpower flaw. It's just how the reward system works. But once you know what's happening, you can catch yourself doing it, which is the entire first step here. Try to notice it next time it happens. You finish a video, you feel genuinely inspired, maybe even a little proud, like you just learned something big, and then you open a new tab and watch the next one instead of opening the tool. That switch right there is the trap closing. The inspired feeling was real. It just got spent on the wrong thing. The obvious one is fear of failure. You don't try the tool because what if it doesn't work? What if you look dumb? What if you waste an afternoon? That one's well documented. Going back decades in achievement psychology, not trying feels safer than trying and losing. But there's a second fear that gets talked about a lot less, fear of success. Because if the AI agent actually works, if the automation actually saves you real hours, now what? Now you're the person who's supposed to keep doing that. Now people expect it from you. Success isn't just a reward, it's a new set of expectations you didn't have yesterday. So staying a person who watches AI videos is, weirdly, the safer identity. Nobody can judge an unfinished project you never started. Nobody expects anything from a tutorial you just watched for fun. The moment you actually ship something, even something small, you've opened yourself up to being judged on it, and that's uncomfortable enough that a lot of very smart people quietly choose not to. You can usually spot which fear is running the show by how the excuse sounds. What if it breaks and I look stupid? Is fear of failure talking. What if it actually works and now I have to keep doing this? Is the quieter one. Fear of success, and it's the one people almost never name out loud, including to themselves. Here's where it shows up specifically in this niche. You don't open the tool. You research which model is best first, then which framework, then you read 3 more comparison threads. Then a new model drops and you start over, because surely this one is the one worth learning. That feels like being thorough. It isn't. Research on choice overload is pretty consistent. More options and more research doesn't lead to better decisions past a certain point. It leads to stalling, because every path now feels like it could be the wrong one, and not choosing feels safer than choosing wrong. Perfectionism runs the same trick with a nicer outfit on. I'll start once I've picked the perfect tool, the perfect workflow, the perfect first project. Perfectionism research links this pattern to procrastination directly. If it has to be the right choice, starting feels dangerous, so it keeps getting delayed. It's not that you have high standards, it's that starting feels risky, and setting the bar impossibly high is a very socially acceptable way to avoid ever clearing it. I want to be specific about what this looks like because it's sneaky. It's not, I'm too scared to try this. It sounds like I'm just being careful with my time. Or, I want to pick the right one so I don't waste effort learning the wrong thing. Those sound completely reasonable. That's exactly why they work as an excuse. They don't feel like avoidance from the inside. They feel like due diligence. Quick correction to something most people get wrong about procrastination. It's not a time management problem. It's an emotion regulation problem. You're not failing to understand the deadline. You're avoiding the uncomfortable feeling that comes with starting something you might not be good at yet. Opening a new AI tool for the first time comes with that feeling built in. You're going to be bad at it before you're good at it. You're going to hit an error message you don't understand. You're going to feel like an idiot for 10 minutes. That feeling is genuinely unpleasant. So your brain routes around it, straight back to something familiar, like watching one more video where nobody's watching you fumble. Once you name it as, I'm avoiding a feeling, not, I'm bad at managing my time, the fix changes completely. You don't need a better calendar. You need permission to be bad at something for 10 minutes. Here's the one that actually matters most. Underneath all the others, people act in line with who they already believe they are. If part of you still sees yourself as someone who follows AI news rather than someone who builds with AI, every action that would prove otherwise is going to feel slightly wrong. Not hard. Wrong. Like it doesn't fit. And here's the part that trips people up. They wait for the identity to change first, then plan to act differently once it has. It goes the other way. Identity shifts because of small actions repeated, not the other way around. You don't think your way into becoming a builder. You do one small thing a builder would do, and the identity catches up after, quietly, without you noticing exactly when it happened. That's genuinely good news, by the way. It means you don't need to feel ready. You just need to go first. Small, concrete version of this. Someone who sees themselves as a builder doesn't wait to feel like one. They open the tool while still feeling like a total beginner, get something small and slightly broken working, and only afterward notice they've started thinking of themselves differently. The feeling of being a builder was never the starting line. It was always the finish line of a bunch of small actions you didn't feel ready for yet. So here's what this channel is actually for. And I want to say this plainly before we go any further together. I'm not going to feed you the dopamine hit of imagine what's possible. You've had enough of that. Every video here is going to end with one small, specific thing you can go do in the next 10 minutes. Not a whole workflow, not a whole course, one line. The behavioral research on this is genuinely consistent. Small, repeatable actions build momentum far more reliably than big motivation-dependent leaps, because they don't rely on your willpower staying high all day. A tiny action you actually take beats a huge plan you never start. So for this video, here's yours. Not next week. Today. Open literally any AI tool you've been meaning to try. Doesn't matter which one, doesn't matter if it's the best one. And do the smallest possible real thing in it. One prompt, one command, something you can finish in under 10 minutes. That's the whole assignment. And if you're sitting there thinking, but I don't know which one to pick, that's the analysis paralysis talking again, right on cue. Pick literally the first one that comes to mind. The specific tool matters far less than the fact that you actually opened it today instead of adding it to a list of tools to try eventually. Watching feels like progress. It isn't. It's a very convincing preview of a feeling, and your brain can't tell the difference between that preview and the real thing unless you force the gap open yourself. The distance between you and someone who's actually good at this stuff was never intelligence. It's not even time. It's the number of small, slightly uncomfortable first attempts they were willing to sit through before you were. Every video I make from here on is going to end the same way this one did. With something small enough that not doing it would be a little embarrassing. If that hit home, tell me in the comments what tool you're finally going to open today. I actually want to know, and I'll read them. This is AI actually. Real releases, no hype, and from here on, always something small enough to actually go do. Subscribe if that's the kind of channel you want in your feed. See you in the next one.